How's it going? Just making sure this is all running before I get started. It says public, has the correct text and such. I think it's working. All right, do I need this? Let's see. Yeah, I guess I could do this. Minimize that. And get the other one started. See if this computer can do this. I honestly don't know. It says please adjust your settings to 8. Well, it's going to take me a little bit to figure out why that didn't work here. Configure. 29.9. No. That should be correct. Two-second keyframe. One more time. And it still says it's wrong. All right. Just give it a second, maybe. Yeah, I had to basically start the stream, or I mean, get the stream running on a different computer so that I could use my main computer. But it's just, there's way too much configuration things, different cameras. And of course, the Amazon stream thing doesn't want to function properly. It looks like it's perfect, but we just need to click on things and hope that it works properly. Keyframe interval 0 auto. I don't think that's correct. I'll put 2 seconds in there. 2 B frames. I'm gonna uncheck those. See if that makes a difference. All right. It says that the coding settings are wrong, but I don't see how that's even possible. How even? Figure. Unless the keys are like it's pushing the wrong data to something else. Who knows? Oh, that looks correct. Output settings. Save output. Well, I'll have to delete it and re-add the thing. It's probably bugs in this multi-stream plugin, but who knows? Try the main. 2-second keyframe. Constant bitrate. Says that it should rescale the output. Just make sure that's set. Bilinear. Let's try bicubic. All right. Come on. There we go. I changed a few settings and I reselected a few settings. All right. I think that we are good to start. Hopefully everything works. It looks like it's working. All right, today we're going to do something pretty unique for me, at least. The goal here is to, oops, select this, add some USB to my computer, my main computer. So with that, so where is my one window? With that, it's going to be various things. If you don't know much about computers, this is more so focused on doing things to a computer that you built from parts. You could potentially do this with a computer that you purchased OEM style, but you need to have a certain amount of knowledge, of course, to figure out what you're doing. And not to say that you can't, but it would take some time and effort to learn. And maybe this can help a little bit, but I'm going to be more of going over the technicals and the more advanced stuff, I guess you could say, with that. I'll try to answer questions or anything. This is a weird setup because I have to, I had to stream on a different computer than my main computer so that I could install things into my main computer. So it's a little difficult with the chat windows and things, but I'm pretty sure I should be able to see most of it, depending on where I'm standing. Just making sure everything's working. It looks like I see a microphone working. I see multiple streams running, probably. That looks to be working. That's public. Yeah, so I'll make an attempt to answer any questions or anything as I go. Hopefully I see it. Yeah, and anyways, this is more focused, like I said, on building computers from parts and adding things to your computer. If you're unsure how to do that, I'll try to help a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Over here to the things, I have a few different items that I'll be installing into the computer. Turn that off. All right, actually I need to configure this chat window thing a little bit. Refresh this. It doesn't say that I'm live. There we go. Pause that. Where is the chat window? Can I pop this out? There we go. Probably have to leave that running. Hopefully it stays paused. Let me make sure. I mean, hopefully it doesn't have like ads play. Maybe I should just leave it open. So that one looks all right. This one looks okay, I think. Yeah, because I have two different areas and I need to do this, and each one needs a screen in a chat window thing. Let's see. Where was that? Make sure that's not running. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I do have a secondary audio thing, so if I need to deal with that, we should be good. All right. So anyways, I have a few items here that we'll be installing into the computer. So if you are unfamiliar with computers, they have various components. You've got a motherboard, which is the main board that everything attaches to. You put the processing unit, CPU, inside. You connect all the storage devices, all the USB things. Obviously, it comes with USB ports on the back of a motherboard. And it has a few things inside that are called headers. And what I'm going to be doing is adding some things to connect to those headers and use those headers in the computer. And then it can either go to the back area in these cases, pretty much, but also you use those to connect to the front of the case usually. And just do a quick swap to the computer, or actually show a little thing on screen. So there's a computer in the little window on the side. Or we can do a close-up here. Let's see. Yeah. So this is what I'll be adding my stuff to at the moment. You can see the big GeForce thing, that's a graphics card. There's a few other components that are kind of unique, but you've got a heatsink, fans, all that stuff inside the computer. Anyways, we'll be taking a look at that. I don't know if I should probably hide that little window again, just for now. There we go. All right. So I've had these components for a while, but there's a few considerations. There are various types, and it's very crinkly. There are various types of headers on the motherboard for USB ports. And depending on your motherboard, you might have some, you might have other ones. However, I'm going to show most of it here. I'm going to go over each thing that I have to install. I'll start with this big one here. So this is from a company called NFHK. I purchased these probably a few months ago. And then basically what's happening here is that you have your headers. So these connect to the motherboard. We've got the USB 2 type header. This is the classic. This is the basic. I mean, it could probably be USB 1 as well. I'm not sure like what the configuration of that was, but this is USB 2. So the version, and then this is USB 3. Go a little closer. One consideration with these headers and motherboards is that once you put them in there, you probably want to be very, very careful trying to remove them, especially this big blue one, because sometimes it's really, really difficult and you could damage something. So be very careful. Make sure you're putting, because sometimes motherboards have multiple of these big blue ones. In my case, my motherboard does. So I almost damaged my motherboard trying to move one of these to a different spot. So yeah, just all I'm saying is be careful as possible. And if it feels stuck in there, you might try to get a plastic pry tool or something or multiple, to try to remove it safely. But I wouldn't just try to pull. This is what I'm saying. Anyways. So yeah, we've got the basic classic USB 2 header. You're going to probably have multiple of these on your motherboard. Obviously, it depends on your motherboard. If you have a small computer, There's different sizes of motherboards. There's ATX is a specification. There's micro ATX. So generally the micro ATX boards will have fewer of these motherboard headers for USB. I have a X670E based AMD motherboard, so it's kind of a higher end type motherboard, so it does have quite a few of these headers. So anyways, this specific adapter, this is going to connect to the back of the computer, and you can see it's going to add 4 ports as long as I have enough headers, right? So I'm going to hopefully have a USB 2 header and a USB 3 header on the motherboard to attach with this. Then I'll get an additional 4 ports. So that's nice. And you can clearly see these are the USB 2 ports over here with the white, and these are the USB 3 ports with the blue. And like I said, this specific one, I purchased all this stuff. I was not sent anything. This specific one is from the company NFHK. I do have it linked. Actually, I think I need to add one more link that I forgot to add somewhere. See if I have that available. I did not link it. Let's see. What can I use here? Yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, this is live, so I'll be hopefully seeing your message and I can respond. Let's go into here. This and that. There we go. I'm doing multi-streaming, so it's kind of juggling multiple streams. It's a little difficult. It's pretty fun though. There we go. All right. I think I'll just close these. Hopefully I don't need those again. I'm always concerned that I'm having a stream running and get duplicate audio. So that's always a concern with this type of thing. All right. Anyways, yeah, this is a pretty simple way to extend your USB if you have the ports for it, or the headers, I should say. So that's that. I'll be putting that in the computer. And like I said, this goes into the back. You'll hopefully have expansion ports. Again, if you have a smaller computer, it might not have the space for this, but you know, it depends. Again, this is more so for people that know enough about computers to have the ability, but you can always learn. So that's part of the process, part of the fun is learning how to do this stuff. And yeah, this will just go into one of the back slots, and then you'll have a screw that holds it into the back, and then you'll have to find your headers on the motherboard and then connect those and hopefully route it in a way that works. This thing isn't super long, so we'll see if it works. There's always a chance that it's not long enough, but these are decently long. I think it might be good. So that's the first thing. Here's another one. This one's similar to this, but this is the most recent USB spec. Switch to this. So this is going to be a USB 3.2 Gen 2 connector. So it's USB-C. Oh, I should mention, these are USB-A shape, or I mean, the A type of USB, and they go one direction. And you know, this is the classic shape, right? The classic connector for USB. So you just got version 3. It might be 3.1, I'm not sure. And then 2. So, but this one, this is USB-C. Sorry, my lighting is not as great today because of how I had to set it up. So this is USB-C, and then this little plate here is going to attach to it like that. So I'll have an additional USB-C port if it works, if this is long enough. I'm not sure why they gave me this. So this is an additional back plate, but it doesn't have a hole in it. So I'm not sure what that's supposed to do. Like, yeah, I'm not sure. That's different. Anyways, I came with it. Like I said, I bought all this stuff. I've had this for probably a year or two sitting around. Not totally sure why that comes with that plate, but I see it in the picture. So it was supposed to come with it. And then you've got some screws. Obviously these screws will be good for attaching these together. And then the additional screws for this area here. There's 3 different screws in there. So I can't tell if it's in focus or not. So that one's that. This is a higher spec. This is, you know, this is very particular if your motherboard has this type of motherboard header. And, you know, it's possible. This is the newest and the fastest. So we'll do that one as well. Hopefully it's long enough to work properly. I had also bought a few little extras just in case I think that I need to use these. These are going to be a thing to adjust the direction of the connector. So in the case of this one, this is for this type of connector. With how my motherboard is set up and like everything around it, I think I might need to use one of these adapters. So this specific one, let's see what it's called. Whoops. Okay, it doesn't have a... the company is IYUANE Pro. And it also says that this is a frequently returned item. So take that for whatever that means. I don't know if it's returned because people don't know how to use it, or it's returned because it doesn't work right. We'll find out. Anyways, just gonna click on something here. Where's my mouse? There we go. All right. Oops. Yeah. Let's pull these out and take a look. It's a little bit of texture to the plastic. Yeah. You can see the pins on one side. This is where the thing is going to go into there. So like that. I'm not going to put it in right now, just in case. But there is a notch that will correspond to anything that you're putting this into. So there's a little notch in there. Yeah, and it'll just go like that. So this will give me a different direction to have the cable route, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. And obviously there's a bunch of stuff like this with different shapes in different directions that you would want the cable to go. So this is the one that I thought that I might need. And it came as a 2-pack, but you know, that's just how it goes. Anyways, this also has a little notch there. So I'll clearly have one specific direction that I can go with these adapters if I need them. All right, the last thing that we'll be dealing with, again, I've had this even longer than the other stuff. It's just been sitting around. This is a PCI-e card. So this is the expansion card for the computer. You can see the type of PCIe connection point here. That's how many lane, it's a single lane card, but you don't really need like a super fast port for this. And then it's got 3 different, I mean, technically these are pretty fast ports, but for whatever reason, it's just a 1x PCIe. So we've got 3 USB 3 ports on this, and then 2 USB-C ports. For some reason I have tape on it. I don't know why there's tape on it. I must have tried to use this at one point with my other computer. Actually, the one that's doing the stream right now. So I'll take this tape off. But it's pretty much just been sitting around. Let me see what this thing is called. Company. So the company name, whoops. Why? Man, all of these company names are pretty intense. Let's see. YEELIYA is the company of this PCIe card. So, yep. Anyways, let's see if there's some interesting information about this. Let's see. Does have, so it's got a additional header on it as well. If I need to connect one of the headers to this, I could do that. And this is a SATA connector, I'm pretty sure. I might have to, that might be for power, actually. I think it's a SATA connector. I'm not totally sure. I don't know if I have any instructions for this, but yeah. It seems too big. I'm not sure what that is. It just has a certain look to it. Anyways, because there are limits to how much power you can draw from the PCIe port. I think it's like 75 watts or so, which could potentially not be enough for these ports if you're drawing a bunch of power from these ports. So I'm not sure how that works. I'd have to try to find the manual for this thing and see how it works. But I'm just going to install it, and maybe we'll find out what happens when I do that. But we'll see. All right. Oh, this is cool. Thanks. Thanks for the message. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm good to start installing stuff. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, this thing. So I'm actually not going to use this, but I did use this for a while. This is basically a converter adapter. So we've got the USB 3. I mean, they're technically both USB 3, but this is the earlier version. This is the newer version. This is the 3.2, Gen 2, or whatever. And it converts that to the older style. So I was using this for a while, but also you can see that part of the connector broke. So I can get a closer view on that. Yeah, and I do have this linked in there if you look at it, but I would not really suggest this unless you really, really need it. It's just basically an adapter. So I wanted to show it at the very least because I've got it here. So it just converts between the new one to the old one. So it goes that direction. So you'll be putting this into a new port to get the bigger style. Anyways, I think we are good on that. And I can just try to install this now. Let me swap to the different view. Let's see. There we go. All right. I'll have to find a good spot to stand so I'm not blocking it. Maybe I can move this light over a little bit. Get some room. Yeah. So in this specific case, I have a header down here. I think there's some in here as well. There might. Yeah, I should have looked at this before I. So here's the 3.2 connector. I could try to do that first. That would probably be a little bit easier. So let me stop this. Oh, I forgot I was not recording my stuff here. Hold up. Let's see if this works. All right, think it's working. Cool. Oops, I'm walking over a mouse cable. Maybe I'll put it over there. All right. So I don't have a preview of what I'm seeing here very easily. Maybe I could shift my screen. Oop. Okay, that's bad. It actually works. Nice. Cool. That's probably good. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take this out. I need some tools. Probably be walking past that multiple times. Some tools, screws. I'll just put them over here. All right. So first off, up here, you take one of these. I think it'll work in this expansion slot. So this is a standard ATX case. This is a little bit bigger than any micro ATX type thing. Actually, should I lower the exposure on that? But then it'll probably be harder to see in these dark areas. What I could also do is adjust the lighting a little bit, so it's more of a downward light. There we go. That might be a little better. So yeah, I've got the two cameras going. Again, this is the ATX case. Here's one of the expansion covers. Let's see. Let's get, where is that? Actually, I might have to switch back to the other view real quick so we can show connecting something. Let's see. To that view real quick. I'll be drinking something if you hear a weird noise. All right. Let's see. And so we've got the USB 3.2 connector setup, or I mean header setup. So this is probably going to go this direction. Let me think. Let me check real quick. I don't want to redo it. Let's see. Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter because USB-C is either direction. Whoops. Just tripped on something. Lots of cables everywhere trying to do this. That was my streaming phone. It has a case though, so it seems to be all right. Anyways, so I'm going to quickly install this. Oops. Came with 3 different screws. And it's always something. Where's my screwdriver? I don't know. I put it over there? Maybe I kicked it somewhere when I tripped. I don't know. Oh. That. Put this over here. All right. I don't have any special screwdrivers, but this is just a basic screwdriver. Hopefully with the right size. I can swap the bit if I have to. So it looks like there's a piece of metal on it. I'm gonna remove that real quick. Got a shard of metal. Don't put that in my finger. All right. So I just get a piece of tape and go over the screwdriver in that case. So it came with 3 different screws. Just make sure this is kind of focused in the proper area. And then on this side, it's got 2 places for it to go into the adapter. I would assume I have to go from the outside. Yeah. There we go. Been wanting to do this stream for a really long time so I could have these ports. Okay, I think this is going to be too big. Let's see. I think it's fine. Oh, that's kind of tight. Let's see. Get some different bits. Right. Maybe this one. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Oops. So this is obviously a very old junky screwdriver, but I taped a magnet to it, so it's a little stronger with the magnet. Anyways. Just going to try to do both sides evenly, somewhat evenly. Some assembly required. All right. So I probably need to be careful that it's straight. I could do a little test here, test fit with a cable. Plug this. So I did a stream recently with some cables from the company Mfish. It sent me some cables that are pretty cool. I'll be doing a video. I'm editing it right now for those. Let's see how this fits. Yeah, it seems okay. Sure. It'd be nice to have 2 USB-C ports, because the motherboard on the back only has 1 single USB-C port. However, the motherboard has a header for it, so that's kind of the point of this whole stream and video, is doing this for more USB. Not sure how much I should tighten this, but it seems that's probably good enough. All right, so it does come with a screw that should work fine for the back, but I'm going to use the thumb screw that came with the case. Let me do a little quick close-up look at this stuff. Yeah, so there's the connected USB-C port. This is a thumb screw from my motherboard. This is the screw that came with the thing here. So USB-C, this is 3.2. And then I'm just gonna put that in the case. All right, let's go back over to the other setup. There we go. So this is a pretty easy one. Just gonna slide this in here. I could potentially put it in one of the other spots down here. So it depends on, whatever you're trying to accomplish. But pretty simple. So with the expansion slots for ATX cases, it has this nub or whatever this is called on the bottom. So this needs to go into the area of the case that it locks in, basically. It slides in there. Otherwise it might flap around, flap around. Flap or flop. So that looks good. You can use a screwdriver or whatever you want to do with these. These are thumb screws, but they're not amazing ones, so I just use a screwdriver. So that's pretty much it for that. And then the motherboard header is right here. Let me see, I can switch to the other view. Yeah, I can't tell if the GPU is blocking it, but the header is right here. So this is the most recent motherboard header for USB. So 3.2. And then in this case, I just need to connect it properly, which I don't know which direction it goes. Maybe it doesn't matter. Okay, it clicked in. So maybe I'll just slide this under the GPU a little bit. That's probably good for now. We'll see if it works. I'm not sure I'll be able to stream that, but we'll see. Down here as well. Is it showing? There's another USB header right here. So this is, I have a memory card reader that uses the USB 3.0 or 3.1, the larger blue connector. And then there's one down here as well. This is where I think I need to use the adapter, but I'm going to take this card out, and yeah, we'll see if we'll take this out. See what we got going. This card has a bunch of SSDs in it. It's kind of old at this point. It's from the company High Point, which I could have linked in the Amazon video. I mean, yeah, stream thing, which I could if anyone's curious. But it's got a large heatsink, and there are 4 SSDs inside. And they're set up in RAID 10 at the moment. But I could try linking that for the Amazon stream. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what it was called. It's from the company High Point. Wow, this phone is really slow. Let's see. I actually bought it on Amazon, so I should be able to find it pretty easily. If it would give me a keyboard, there's a search thing in the, there we go. It wasn't giving me a keyboard to type on the phone. All right, it's the SSD 7204. Like I said, it's kind of old at this point, but if you're curious, I'll link it and you can take a look at it. You just need to type it into the other phone that's doing the stream. SSD 7240. Oh no, 7204. All right. Yeah, it's in there. And I could potentially add it to the other list. The question is how. Lists. Oh, nice. Let's see if I can actually add from here, though. Add products. This one. Ah, there we go. Nice. Okay. Okay, that's good. Anyways, it's in there if you want to look at it. Oops. It's not. All right, so we've got this one installed. That looks good. I could potentially route this cable somewhere else, but it connected. It seems like these are probably multiple, it doesn't matter which direction, I think, because it's USB-C. So down here, I've got potentially more. I see some fans. So here's a JUSB 5. So we've got a USB 2. I think I need something to blow some of the dust out of there. Let's see. This should be good. Yeah, we've got one down here, and then the USB 3.0 or 3.1 connector, the big one. And then, as I mentioned before, I don't know if that's showing up, but there's one here as well that I'm using already. And like I said, this motherboard, it's an ATX. It's got more USB headers likely than other boards, cheaper boards. So that's one of the benefits of buying a more expensive motherboard usually, is that you do have more USB options. So let's see, what is this? Yeah, I already have something connected to this USB as well. Yeah, that's number 4. I think that might be the front header. Yeah, I had some issues with this cheap case and the headers. So there is an additional one that I could connect, but I felt like I almost damaged this header here on the motherboard trying to remove the previous one from this case. The company sent me a replacement for the entire front panel thing. It's up here. I have my case on the side. I run the case on the side like this because I prefer the access and how it works. But it has the USB 3 and the USB 2, and that's breakout, but this one was damaged. And then there's a USB 2 connector here. So I am using that one in one of the ports, but then there's that. So technically I could connect this one to the expansion card if it's long enough. So maybe that'll work. And I'm not as concerned about that, right? So maybe I will get access to this port again on the case. That'll be cool. Just see if this is long enough though. I might be able to route it in a way that gives me more length, but it's hard to tell. Feels like it's stuck on something. Yeah, it might. Actually, that might reach. Okay. So we'll have to consider this bottom port. In my specific case, I need the expansion card in the bottom port because it's faster on this motherboard. And you can see it's a little bit larger than the USB expansion. So I just need to, I'll likely put the expansion card here in the other port as it is. But to get access, we can do this one next. Let me switch back to my other view. There we go. So now we'll be installing this one. Hopefully I have space. But yeah, like I said, it's got the 2 USB 3s, 2 USB 2s, and then it needs 2 motherboard headers. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Question is, where do we put it? All right. So let me test fit the card in here. Figure out which one this is going into. So this is going to go into, oh, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Nice. I kind of planned this, but I kind of did not. Or at least I don't remember all of the details. Because graphics cards tend to cause a lot of issues with placement of stuff. This one clearly is a little thicker than one slot. So it's like 2.5 slots. So we'll take that out, and then we're going to take this one out as well. Yeah, maybe I should lower it. It's probably too late for me to lower the exposure on that camera, because then it would change everything. But, oh well. Let me get that blower. Okay. Nice. So this one probably go here. Oops, I have it upside down. I can take this out for the moment. More space. Whoops. I should be looking at the chat windows. Oh shoot, did I turn this off? Sorry. Make sure that's still working. Return to live stream. This phone is very, very slow. Return to live stream. Looks like it's working. All right. I don't know what I could do with this in a way that I could see it easily. Maybe over here. There we go. So in this case, I'll be putting this in that one. Again, there's a nub right here. So this needs to go into the corresponding hole on the case so it doesn't flop around. And then we'll take one of our screws from the motherboard, case, from the case. In case these are thumb screws for this one. And I can in there. So now we're going to have so much USB. Man, hopefully this won't interfere with the graphics card fan. We'll see, depending on how I arrange things. Well, I'll just kind of barely tighten it at the moment. And then next up, we've got our USB PCIe expansion. So you can see the size of the PCIe connector. This is the 1X size, the smallest. So it's the least amount of data, but it should be fine. And it has the extra header on here, which I didn't even think of it now, but I might have thought of it when I was planning this. So this could potentially be awesome for what we're doing. Did I put that in the wrong spot? Yes, I did. Okay. My mistake. Wrong one. Whoops. So I'm going to move this one down into here, probably. Yeah. I'll just leave that in there. Take another screw. Put that in there. I'm not going to tighten it too much at the moment. Then we take our expansion card. Obviously, it's going to go this direction. So we've got the notch connector up here. This is where the screw goes. Might have to adjust that. Looks like I had bent it at one point. But I'm going to take this screw out. So you clearly need to align it to the port properly, make sure it clicks in. So it's in there. I'm going to loosen this screw down here just in case. So that's in there. And then this one. Pretty simple. It's kind of like building blocks or whatever. Although I know I've said it and other people have said it, it's like Legos, but I mean, Legos can get pretty advanced. So I don't know. Next up, I'm going to try to connect these first before I put the other card back in. So I've got the USB header down here, the USB 2 header. Try to figure out how I can loop this in a way that makes sense. Because this expansion card that I have, also, I don't know if this camera is going to be high enough quality, but there's a little one without a hole on this side. So you need to look at your connector, the pins on the motherboard, and correspond them to without, there's going to be one without a pin. So obviously that's how you what direction you put it. So in this case, it's going to be like this, in my case. I guess I could just do it on camera here with that camera. There we go. Yeah. And then we'll have to see how this works with positioning of things. Because like I said, so in this case, I'm going to get one of those adapters before I continue here. Maybe I could route this down. Is there a hole? Yeah, there is. Just trying to find the optimal. I don't know if this is going to fit. Oh, it does fit. Okay. So there we go. So there's that. Get one of these adapters. And the reason I have to do this is because of this weird expansion card that I have. It's going to put this on here. Again, there's a notch on the blue portion. And then there's a notch inside the adapter. Get that clicked in. And then hopefully, oh no, did I do this wrong? Shoot. Let me see. Do I have two different adapters? Oh. Okay, these are different. I must have ordered two different options. Hopefully this comes off easily. Oh man, I might have. Yeah, so this one's got the notch on that side. That's the one that I need. But getting this thing off now is potentially bad. I was warning people about this exact thing. Sorry. Please don't break. Yeah, the design of this is not great. This motherboard header. Oh no. Maybe I could push a tool into it. Or something like a plastic tool or something. Shoot. Any suggestions? Trying to think of what I could use. A little screwdriver. A really thin screwdriver. Oh, here, this thing. Actually, I think I want to go this direction. Oops. Shoot. It's very awkwardly positioned too. Does that fit under there? No. Wow, I really did a number on myself with this. Come on. Man. Oh, okay. You can even see some of the blue plastic in there. Oh well. Came off. So I was wrong about, I must have bought two different types. All right, let's do a quick swap to the other camera and show that. So the specific thing that I bought came with two different types here. This is good because if you don't, like if you accidentally get the wrong type or whatever. So actually let me get some more light on here. Yeah, so is that zoomed in all the way? Maybe this is too bright. Yeah, so you can see the notch right there. And then this one does not have a notch, but it's on the other side. So I put in the wrong one for my specific use case, but they're flipped. So you can have them whatever direction you want. And you can see in here some of the blue plastic from that other connector is in there. It's just a really poorly designed connector for this stuff, like for all of it. But yeah. Anyways, let's try this one. They have a different number name. Okay, so this says PH19B. That's the one we do not need. This one says PH19A. This is the one that we will... Oh, that's flopped. Hopefully that doesn't matter. All right, we'll try this one. Go back to the other setup. There we go. All right. So let's see, notch to notch. Clicked in. Cool. And then try to position this in a way that makes sense. Oops. I could put this under here. Swap to that camera. Yeah. Some thick cables that are just not super flexible. And then you obviously want to be careful with the motherboard. That's going to be the most delicate thing of the... I can't tell if it's in there. I felt a click, but no, it's not in there. Okay. There we go. Nice. Make sure I can just like kind of de-stress the connection a little bit by how I arrange it, the cables. So it's a mother power thing. This one's gonna have to be pretty flat. Let me take this out for the moment. Okay, that's a power connector. Another USB. I can swap this one to this one. Let me route this in a different way. Well, I guess that's fine. Sure, that's... Whoops. Yeah, I'll put this one over here. Oops. So that one's for the front panel. And then, what is this cable? I could disconnect this and just kind of rearrange it a little bit. There we go. Nice click. Always hope that they click. Just don't want to put like a ton of force in one direction. There we go. Because, you know, it would like shear off the motherboard connector. But I think it's fine. So this probably gets relatively warm. I might try to do something so it doesn't touch that heatsink. We'll see. Anyways, I think that's good. We've got that. We've got that. Now we've got this thing to connect. I could route it from the bottom again, but that connector is big enough that it kind of uses most of the space. So let's just plug this one in normally. Let's make sure I've got this aligned properly. There we go. All right, and then we can put back this thing. Again, the main issue with this heatsink is that it goes all the way. It's kind of a bad design. And it causes some issues. That's why I bent these pins here, these fins. So hopefully they don't damage anything. It's in there. Is it touching this? I think it clicked in. Yeah, it's literally, is it touching that? Like it's just barely touching the adapter down there. I think it's fine. But man, just barely. Okay. I could always bend those pins a little bit, or fins a little bit more. Let me see. Yeah. Trying to think of what I used to bend those last time. Probably a hammer. Let's see. What do I do with my tools? I've got this. I'm probably not going to show this on screen because it's extreme. But yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Trying to look for something that I can put over it. Like a paper towel maybe. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna show this for reasons. You'll hear it though. Yeah, that's probably good. I mean, all right. Hopefully that didn't break anything. Anyways, I pushed that a little bit more. Part of the joys of computer stuff. Yeah, I think that helped a little bit. So we've got our thumb screw, whoops, magnets, this attached to that, and it threw it. Okay. Oops. There we go. Let me swap to the other camera. So there's that. We've got this one. We've got this, which I'm not sure if I need to power externally or not, which I don't know if I don't know what that connector is. But yeah. So I can also potentially route this here. Seems kind of short. Let's see. Trying to figure out what I can. Graphics cards had so many problems. Okay. Kind of push this over so I could figure out which cable this is. Maybe if I. No, that's not coming out. At least not easily. Could use something to grasp it. Need like a claw of some sort. I mean, I could use these are a little sharp. Maybe if I put tape on them. I mean, technically gaffer tape. So this is called gaffer tape. It's a no residue, or at least usually no residue tape. I'll just cover the metal ends with the gaffer tape. Oops, that was a little too much. There we go. So that should be safer to use. I mean, it might be better for me to just flip the case up. And then my whole camera setup is kind of messed. Yeah. There's another cable here that's getting in the way. I don't know what it might be, the USB 2 one. And this drive is screwed on both sides. So I would have to take the side panel off in that case too. Oh, that sounded horrible. Well, that was an idea. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get it out from there anyways. Look at it. All right. Let's turn off this one camera. Oops. I need a mouse. Figure out which mouse it is. All right. I just move this camera for the moment. There we go. Got so many things. Can I easily do this? The problem is these cables might be tied down. I tend to be very specific about tying cables down and stuff. think we're good. Wait, I feel something. Just trying to figure out if anything's getting stretched. Ooh. Everything seems... Oh, the network cable is the main one. Disconnect that. Yeah, that one's a little short for my setup. All right. In this case, I will take this side panel off. I don't have a good way of showing this. Well, actually, I could get the other camera, but let's see. See if I can angle this other camera. Problem is when I move things around, it changes the lighting. Can't even tell what's on screen. I mean, what's... All right. Let's see. I'll switch to... Trying to find the mouse. Let's see. Go to studio mode. Think there's anything weird in there. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure this is not aesthetically unpleasing view. What does that even say? No. One more look. Size this. It's probably fine. It's just a bunch of bags and junk. Okay, I think that's fine. Transition that frame. So there's the other side of the computer. So what we're looking for here is that USB cable. I think it was, yeah, it's this one. And then figure out a way to route this so we get more length. I'm just going to push it back into the case this direction because it comes up over here. I actually have the old one. This is the same thing here. They'd sent me a replacement when damaged that one. So here's the cable. It's coming from this side. So I'm just going to have it go straight and into the case instead of from the side here. Let's see. And it'll be nice to have that port again in a safe way that won't damage my motherboard. Okay. Ugh. Some dust. Okay, it's caught on another. Let me redo that. It's kind of caught on some stuff. There we go. Nice. So that should give us a little more length. Now we can switch back to the other setup. And I'll put the panel back on. I don't know where this is supposed to go. Does it actually fit in there? Maybe I'll wipe this off before I put it back in there. Let's see. Is there a bit of maintenance while I do this? Just going to probably good. Try to just remove a little bit more dust and such. Obviously don't go crazy on the motherboard. I can pull out that little air thing that I've got. Ugh. It's kind of bad. All right. I mean, it happens, so I think I need to clean this vent as well. Problem is this is a cheap case and it just doesn't, it's not designed to easily clean the filters and things. So I'm kind of stuck with that for the moment. All right, put this back on and try to make sure this doesn't get, well, it seems to really want to go there. It's probably fine. There we go. All right. Here we go. I don't know if it's fully on there. I think I'm going to strip this one, both of them. Anyways. Switch back to that camera. Yeah. So I do run the computer on its side like this. I prefer that for various reasons. Put this other camera back. Hopefully that looks decent. Let's take a look. It's probably fine. Cool. And they both work. All right. So we've got this, we've got expansion. Now we can connect this to here. Again, the notch, which is on this side. I could switch to the full view. Yeah, there's a notch on this side of the connector. So the question is, do I want to route it under the Graphics card? Or just let it hang. I mean, it does reach. I kind of prefer to not do that though. Let's see. I've had this DVD or Blu-ray writer drive in the computer since I got it. I mean, I put it together, and I had a video planned, and I can still do it, but it's been a long time, and I haven't gotten to it. Basically, the idea, most of my stuff is, or at least my more popular stuff, is photography. So it was just an idea. The video idea is backing up your photos with discs. So I haven't done that in years. And I've never used a Blu-ray writer. I've only used DVD writers and CD back when those were a thing. So I have some discs, but obviously they've been sitting for a year. Over a year, probably. I mean, quite a bit over a year. I kind of doubt they go bad, per se, but I guess I'll find out if I get to, like, when I get to that, I should say. Because I do want to make the video, but there's always some other option or some other thing I can work on. I think that's a little bit better. Nice. Again, with the notch and the other notch. Just slide that in there. I'm not totally sure. Like I said, it's possible that I need to power this expansion, but I'm not sure. So that is that. So now we've got access, hopefully, to the front port, again, the USB 3 front port. We've got 3 USB 3s, 2 USB-Cs from this thing. It's not going to go super fast with how the card is a 1X connector. And then we've got 4 more ports from this that pulls from the motherboard. 2 headers on the motherboard. And then this one, which is a 3.2 Gen 2 one that comes from the motherboard. So that's a lot. It's a lot more USB. It's like a crazy amount of USB. All right. Let me connect the power back to the GPU. I can turn this on. I'll try to, I don't have anything set up to easily view the thing, unless I somehow like disconnected. I don't think that would work, because I don't know if Amazon and YouTube are able to do that. But let's see. I could maybe slightly adjust one of the cameras to show the screen on the computer. Put this back in while I remember. Where's the connector for that? Is this one? All right. Here. Looks good. All right, I think we're good. So again, in summary, we've got the USB 3.2 from the motherboard, and this depends on your motherboard. Depends on what headers you have available, and if the headers conflict with other things. It's possible that, I don't think this is the case with my motherboard, but sometimes either ports relate to SATA connectors where you can only use one or only use another. Like the header like a USB header versus a SATA drive connector or two. That's possible. So if I notice one of my drives is gone, then I'll have to look at the motherboard specifications. But I'm only using 2 of the SATA ports of the 4. So even if that were the case, I could probably swap them if I had to. In my case, like I said, this is the 3.2 Gen 2 connector, just simply adapted to the back plate. So there's a connector back there for that. And then this expansion card, which has 3 USB Type A connectors that are USB 3. And then it has 2 USB-C ports as well. And then this one has the 2 USB 3s and 2 USB 2s. Again, that one's adapted from the motherboard in 2 different connectors down here. And then I used an adapter for the USB 3 connector so that this card doesn't interfere with the port, and I can connect it and it looks fine. So that's good. Yeah. And then I also have another header that I'm using on a drive up here, which is a memory card reader. So I think we're good. I think it's ready for action. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna put the power back on. Turn the power on. Fans are spinning. There's dust everywhere. Okay, I see a light on this. Oh. Sounded a little weird. Oh, I see a good sign. Whoops. The BIOS screen is coming up for the computer. Just trying to adjust my screens. They're on a arm thing. Whoops. Let's see. There we go. Really good. The computer is on. That's a good sign as well. Whoops. Just tripped on something. It's a mouse. All right. Oh, I see you saying your pins should be going into the PCIe slot. Not the air. Just you wait till you meet PCIe or AGP or any computer before 2010 and you'll most definitely be frustrated. Your pins should be going into the PCIe slot. I'm not sure what I was talking about at the time. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for the comment. Let's see. So I do have the, I'm not sure what I'm even showing on the screen. So this is pulling air from the expansion card, if that's what you're talking about, and it shoots it out of the power supply. And this is also, this fan here is pulling air downward. This one's pulling out. Yeah. So I think we're good. Yeah, I'm so old that I was definitely before AGP. So yeah, I did have some use with AGP stuff. All right, let me connect this. So I'll be trying to hopefully get a camera or something to view this computer. And then we can kind of do a mix of the different views and me connecting things to it. Whoops. Maybe I can move this camera here. Well, it doesn't get any taller unless I want to adjust things like a lot. Whoops. Yeah, maybe if I move, I could switch to this camera for the moment, and then we can swap this other camera to this different spot. Whoops, I gotta take that off. Let's see. So this could at least get us a view of this other computer screen. Let's see. Pull up some type of window or something to focus on. All right. All right, kind of working here as I go. Let me see what that looks like. I keep forgetting I'm using two computers. All right. Oh, I gotta reconnect the cable. All right. Whoops. There we go. That's the wrong one. Whoops. Okay. So now I'm just adjusting the view of this to hopefully decent look at what we're doing. It's probably okay. So now this is the other computer. We can try out all those USB ports. And then I can swap to a different view. I mean, set up a different view of the various ports and things. Can also adjust this. Whoops. Need to get this other camera really tall. It's on a tripod, so if you hear weird noises, it's me getting a tripod taller. Whoops. Ouch. There we go. And then this. Probably good. Maybe I'll just keep that out of the way. I think I need to increase the ISO quite a bit. It's probably good. So add this camera to the live stream. Video capture. What's this one? I don't want to have these visible in here. Let's get this stuff out of the way. So it looks a bit tidier. Oops. It's probably as good as it's gonna get. There we go. So we've got computer views. So what I could do is just verify everything is working. Think of a way to do that. Connect some type of USB device to all those ports. See if they work. We got a GoPro. Could do GoPro USB-C to USB-C. Potentially. I do have a nice long port that I could use. Long cable. Or 2 or 3. It's a company called Imfish that sent me a bunch of cables recently. See which one might work best. No, I'm going to use this 10-foot one. All right. So I got this super long pink 10-foot USB-C to USB-C cable. It is only, it's USB 2 spec. So maybe not the best option because it's more of a charging. This is more of a charging cable than a data cable. Let me see if I have a better option than that. Most of my, actually this one might be good. Oops. Okay, I think this is a faster cable for data. What did I do with the GoPro? I don't know. Here it is. I don't know if I can easily get that to work though. Maybe the Z5 camera. So this is a mirrorless camera. Does it have a USB? Where's my camera? Okay, yeah. This is a Z5 from Nikon. So I can connect this to the various ports, see what happens. Maybe not the safest option, but I think it's fine. So in the back, we have a bunch of new USB-C ports. So I could use one, the individual one. This goes directly to the motherboard. Plug it in. It has a charging. There's a charging light on it, so it's connected. If I turn the camera on, do I have a battery in here? Yeah, it does have a battery. Okay, it's not turning on. Let me swap the... Okay, I think the battery's dead somehow. Swap the camera battery. Maybe I left the camera on or something. Who knows? Okay. All right. Go into video mode. So I'm gonna reconnect this cable to the camera. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I can easily have a display from this to the computer. I don't know if it's a specific setting though. Well, we'll see. Might just be a dark frame. Turn this light on. All right. Go back to the computer and see if that port works. Whoops. Which mouse? Yes. Video capture device. Whoops. So it's not detecting any specific camera, but I can also just look. Okay, it sees the camera. It works. Okay. Yeah, it sees the camera. That's good enough for now. So that's one port. That was adapting the motherboard USB 3.2 to a plate in the back. So we know that works. And then also, this thing is kind of in the way. In a moment. This is a capture device from a company called AV Matrix. And I didn't know where to put it, so I put it on a mobile mount thing. But I can't easily remove it at the moment. Well, actually, there we go. Nice. So these are all new ports from this expansion card. I'll put it into one of these USB-C ports, see if it works. Another check. Oops, let's go here. Okay, this one, I'm not seeing a camera drive. Interesting. It's possible that that thing needs drivers. Well, let's see. Trying to think of something else I can connect. That would make sense. Could try the GoPro. Yeah, so this one does not show that it's sending power to the camera. It is in there. Oh, it's possible that the thing was interfering with that specific port. I might need to adjust the position of it slightly because of the case. No, it still doesn't show as a device. So maybe this is not a plug and play setup. Or again, maybe I need to adjust that. Whoops. Adjust the adapter a little bit. See if that makes a difference. Otherwise, I'll have to look at see if I can find instructions for this. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. Now I see power going to the camera. So I think I just needed to adjust the position of it slightly so that the case, for between each slot on the case, there's a little metal thing that can interfere with anything connecting to it. Oh, I need to turn the camera back on. So let's turn the camera back on. And see if it connected. No. So it was sending power, but it's not letting the camera talk to the computer. Let me see. Let me switch to here for a second. I'm gonna look at device manager and stuff to see if it is missing something. Or I could also check. I just have a bunch of USB stuff. Yeah, it's not seeing it. Let me try connecting. Actually, I could add the other camera to this one just so you get more of a view of what's going on. View capture device. Oh no, that's not the one that I want. Remove. This one. Yeah, it's just a little bit more of a view. Yeah, so that's not working. I could also do, it's the wrong computer. Let me try connecting it to this GoPro. Okay, it does, the GoPro shows a light, so it's charging. And turn on the GoPro. USB connected. So, where could I put this? Over here. There we go. I do have an aftermarket cover for the GoPro, so that's how I'm able to connect the USB like that. Well, I don't think I have a card in there. Let me quickly put a card in there. And record some footage. Oops. Oh, there is a card. All right. Whoops. Make sure there's a clip on here. You're recording a little clip that we can copy. Yeah, that should be good. Let's try connecting this again. Like I said, I have an aftermarket panel on the GoPro, so I can put the USB port in. I mean, connect a cable to it without opening the side. Yeah, for some reason this isn't showing devices, but it is charging, which is odd. I might need to get drivers for it. Let me try a USB-A to USB-C. An official GoPro cable. If I can find one. Is this one? No, it's much too long. So many USB cables. I'm just gonna pick something here in hope. Yeah, this one might. Let's see. So I'll probably have to do some debugging. Whoops. Let's try one of these USB 3. This cable is USB 2. But actually what could be happening is I might have the GoPro in the wrong mode for data transfer. Let's see. It might be set up for something else. I'm not sure where that is in the settings. General. Time data. Yeah, so what I can do is just get a card reader instead of a complex device that needs configuration. I do have some card readers here. Is this on screen? I'm not even sure what I'm showing. Yeah. So some of these could be fun to try. This. So this one's probably good. This is a pretty reliable one. Yeah, we'll try this one. All right, so here's a memory card reader. This is a USB-A connection. But it is 3, so it should go fast and work. I'm gonna pick one of these ports. So there's a light on it, which is good. But we'll see. Oh. All right. So that port works. That's the USB that was in the expansion card. And it was a Type A USB 3 port. So what we can also try is some other USB-C device. But I'm going to also, before I do that, I'm going to check the other ports that I added with expansions. So that does work. Oh, sorry, I was on the wrong thing here. So let me pull that back up. Yeah, it's this drive here. And then we can see that the little video that I took is working. It's reading it off the memory card. Yeah. Cool. Let me just eject that. Shouldn't matter, but let's see. So that works. I'm going to plug it into one of the expansion ones. So basically, we should see the same situation. This is going directly to the motherboard. This is with one of the, I mean, it's with the adapter that I used that turns into a 90-degree angle. Okay, this appears to work as well. So we know that the adapter, yeah, we know that that adapter we added, which is right here. It's kind of hard to see, but see if I have a better view of it. Yeah, it's right here. This area. It's hiding behind the thing. So it's converting the 3 type, I don't know if it's 3 or 3.1 USB header. So it's a big one with the blue connector. And it converts into the adapter, which goes to the here. Like right there. So it's a direct motherboard connection. So I'm drinking some tea. Cool. Oh, maybe I have a better view. Not really. Okay, there's the adapter right there. So it goes up and then back. Very nice. It clearly works. So I would assume that the USB 2 ports work as well, but I can check real quick. So just going to swap this to one of the top ones that are white. Obviously, that's a much slower port, but it's using a different header on the motherboard. Okay, that appears to work as well. I'll just quickly check the video. Yeah. And USB 2 is fast enough that it can read a video off of a memory card like this. No problem. So it's good. Yeah. Cool. Trying to think of, oh, I can try the port on the case that is adapted from, it goes in, it connects into the expansion card. We'll try that one. And that's a standard USB-A. So this one will be cool because if it works, it's a convenient place for me, right, where the port is sometimes. So if it works, it's nice. Okay, we've got a blue light, good sign. And again, that's going into this expansion card. So even more useful. Whoops. So I just tripped on something. Oh. So this one is not working. Let's see. It's plugged in. Okay. Maybe when I touched it, it flipped out. So I see it now. That was weird. So it's working for the moment, but I touched or something and it stopped working. I'll have to see if that's seated properly. So yeah, it's right. This is what it's connected to right here. This thing. All right. So that one's good, probably. I think that's everything. Except, yeah, the USB-C ports were not working on that expansion card, or at least I don't have devices that I can try. Does it have a memory card reader? No. I might have a USB-C memory card reader. Whoops. Keep tripping on things. Take a look in here. Well, I don't need to show this, I guess. Oh, no. I do think I have one, but I could try a SSD maybe. Trying to think where I have that. Might be in here. Be opening a bag. It's not in there. Aha. Okay, this might work. So this is a USB-C to memory card thing. So I'm going to take this card with our GoPro footage, put it into there, and we'll see if it works with these ports back here. It's possible that it was just offset when I tried to connect it the last time. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, it works. Nice. Awesome. So where that is connecting is, let me see if I can get a better view. I should have, yeah, so here's, oh, it's off screen. I mean, it's covered. Let's see. Whoops. Yeah, so here's the expansion card. This has two USB-C ports in it as well. So I have that memory card reader connected to one of those USB-C ports. Awesome. Okay, cool. Anyways, I think that is it for this stream. Hopefully you found it interesting or informational or whatever else. No, pretty much the goal and the idea is that your motherboard potentially has a wealth of USB that you're not using. So in this case, let me see what screen I'm showing. Let's switch to here. So in this case, yeah, that's probably good. We've got a nice little upgrade of pins and stuff. Yeah, in the case of this motherboard, this is a MSI X670E Gaming Plus Wi-Fi motherboard. So X670E is AMD. It's the current gen AMD CPU. And it has a lot of expansion, clearly. So we've got the 3.2 Gen 2, I think it's called, motherboard header, so that now we've adapted that to the back plate. So we have another USB-C. This specific motherboard does have one USB-C port on the back panel type thing, but now I've got two, so that's great. And then now we've got the expansion card, which has the, I mean, it's probably limited in speed. with how many ports it has versus the connector. The 1x transfer speed that it's doing. That's fine. And then again, this specific board has down here another header for the USB 3, but I'm using that for a memory card reader in the front panel expansion bay. Yeah, this case is an old school that has two actual front expansions. So the 5 1/4, I think it is, or is it 5 1/2? 5 1/2 and 3.5 adapted to 5 1/2. And then again down here we have at least two USB. I could link the motherboard as well while I'm at it, but at least two USB 2 headers. There might be another one somewhere. I have to look around because there's so many. Let me quickly add that motherboard while I'm talking about it to the Amazon thing. Let's see. I don't know what I'm showing on the screen here. Okay. Yeah. Am I on screen? Yeah. So it's the MSI X670E Gaming Plus, the actual word plus Wi-Fi. That's the full name of it. Is this one? Nice. Oops. Yeah, so I added that. Select all. Copy. I'm going to add it to my ideal list as well. Anyways, the point, like I said, the whole point is to potentially convert your motherboard header USB into usable USB, because a lot of the time, from my personal experience, but also other people that most likely haven't bothered to look and see what they have and see what they can do with it. Simple conversions, adding actual additional cards in this case, really works out nicely. And I'll count my ports in a second here once I add this to the list. Let's see if I still have that up or I don't. Go to, oh, I was using the other phone actually. That's fine. Let's do a quick count of USB. So on the motherboard itself, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, on the back plate thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it has 12 ports on the back plate. And now I added 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22. And then I also got back another port, so technically 23. But then there's another port on the case, so 24 total USB ports. But technically I have another port that you can't see, and it's on this memory card reader. It has a port. So what was that, 25? Yeah, 25 USB ports. So yeah, it's a lot, and it's cool, and I like USB, so anyways, I think that is good for the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed it, found it useful or interesting. And my call sign for this specific genre stuff is called Tech, I suppose. It's a play on an anime called Sakamoto Deska. And he says something in the show like NASA, I suppose. So that's where I got it from. Anyways, I'm going to head out for today. I also stream food, like snack reviews, drink reviews, camera equipment. I did a stream on USB cables recently and a USB power station. And I'd make videos as well, of course. But yeah, me in the streams here. See ya, Scott of Tech, I suppose. There's that one. I will also end the YouTube stream next. I can find the browser window. All right, see ya.